So I'm back here. Excuse me, after dinner burp. TMI or not. This is a video. I'm going to turn on the monitor. I went into screensaver mode over dinner. I have all these extensive notes, well, fairly extensive, about Afanti guitars. I wanted to make an Afanti guitars video. That was the contractor. I wanted to let you know that that's the company that built the Xiangqi guitars, Afanti. I'll put a link to them. You can find them in a web search. A-F-A-N-T-I, Afanti, as best I can tell. Okay, so I think they have something like 15, 20 years experience. Maybe it's 10 years, I don't know. I have made this video, like so many videos, I have made this video. I've lost count. I even had one that this camera runs out at 25 minutes. When it's at 480p, 30 frames per second, it runs out of time at about 25 minutes. Then you got to do another one. The memory card holds more, so I can do multiple 25-minute videos. Be that as it may, I was up to 40 minutes. I had a 25 and a 15. And I either had an allergy attack or I just caught myself in the middle of it and thought, wow, this is super long-winded. Nobody cares, man. So I want to try to give you some information without information overload or getting buried in the minutiae. And I also want to talk about tone wood. I decided in one fell swoop do this as an Afanti and a tone wood video, because I got the Xiangqi guitars because of the Paulownia body. So right away, if you want a Paulownia body, I'm almost certain that Afanti would sell you the body, and they can do all kinds of body shapes. And so for parts, I think Afanti would sell you all kinds of parts, and they will build guitars. And I don't have a Xiangqi handy, but Afanti does they'll do really cool headstock art. So you can get a fully built guitar like one of my Xiangqis, but your own brand name, your own body spec, your own pickup spec, your own neck spec, your own color spec. You can just spec it out to your specifications, and they'll build it for you. And I think it's a fairly reasonable price. And I'm not going to tell you that, oh, everything's going to be great. You're not going to have any problems whatsoever. And I'm also not going to tell you that they're bad. This is somewhere in the middle. And like I said, I had all these excruciating details about each guitar. But I'll just say that that's a further idea that I had when I was reading through some G&L reviews on Musician's Friend, and then thinking back to all the various brands whose reviews I had read on Amazon, or where I had seen videos about them on YouTube or that sort of thing, and how many problems people have had with just about any brand you can mention. Like, if there's a brand that makes a guitar that doesn't have problems ever, I would be interested in hearing about it. I'm sure a lot of people would. So if you're listening to this and you're still hearing it, you haven't turned it off and gone to some other channel. Well, then put a comment in the comments and tell us what brand has just got super quality control, because I'd say Afanti, just to be honest, is kind of middle of the road quality control. The prices are pretty good. I'd say better than average for what you get, or maybe about average, but definitely not below average. Pretty good. Anyway, I went to Afanti because I was looking for lightweight wood, having worked on these Davisons and Jamisons with their so-called rubber tree or Asian hardwood. Well, I was searching Asian manufacturers to build my own brand. And I went through several companies asking, do you have Asian hardwood? Do you have rubber tree? And finally, Afanti said, no, we don't, but we have Paulownia. Because I'll tell you, basswood, everybody has basswood, right? I'm more interested in something a little more exotic, like even an alder or a pine. And when Afanti said they had Paulownia, I was definitely interested because I'd heard it had great resonant qualities. So anyway, I'm going to put the Afanti link there. You could definitely get, if you're intrigued by Paulownia, or if you want a custom headstock or a specific body shape, these are the guys that you can go to. So there's that. I wanted to do that video. I've been wanting to do this video, and I decided I just don't want to go into the minute details of what every guitar was like, and I'll just reiterate that the QC is, kind of middle of the road. Let me put it another way. It's not as bad as I feared it might be, and it's not as great as I hoped it might be. So that's pretty much the story of life as far as I'm concerned. It wasn't a real outlier in any direction, up or down, right or left. Okay, so just playing these guitars, okay, so anyway, for instance, this is in the same vein, right? It's a light body. I got into these light bodies. I thought there were special properties. I'm always talking about sparkle and glitter of light body, lightweight solid body guitars, right? So I'm playing here without an amp, right? Well, now that I'm trying to get it, it doesn't want to happen, which is another thing. Oops. Okay. Well, I'm trying to create some resonance, and I was going to say these lighter weight woods, they tend to be more resonant, especially when you're not plugged into an amp. So this is getting back to the tone wood debate, but I'm going to stop, turn, and talk about Paulownia specifically. And I do find that it has a resonant quality, and I've been saying it over and over again, right? But see, it's getting to the point of obsession because, that's fine if you're a collector and you want to appreciate subtle variations in tone, but as far as making a song on YouTube that you're going to present to the public, or putting something up on Bandcamp, or whatever, you've got your guitar as one instrument in, say, a band type situation, even if it's a virtual band or if it's really a band. It's, in other words, the guitar in the context of an overall mix. Well, I don't know. The more you put it into a mix, the less and less tone whatever matters. Now, maybe if you're doing solo stuff, just the guitar, then the tone would matters more. But again, I've posted this in various debate or discussion threads that I posted this a while back, that I thought tone was more about your hands, your pickups, your strings, probably even your scale, and then about the wood. I still think it's a factor, but again, it's for like tone fiends or tone freaks that are just obsessed with tone, which is I have been, obviously. I count myself among those, at least to some extent, to a greater or lesser extent. So it's a thing that guys like me who are sitting around in their basement or the garage or the bedroom or whatever and noodling around, yeah, it's noticeable. It's a thing. But then, as I was saying, when you get into a mix as part of a band or an overall recording that has many instruments, it's really nothing. It's virtually nil. It doesn't matter, like, the actual performance or the arrangement that sort of thing. It doesn't matter at all compared to that sort of thing. I'm doing the, because of I'm getting my allergies again. This room, I've decided, is at the core of my allergy problems. I think it needs a good cleaning. You know, I could almost, if I could just steam the room up, even though that's counterintuitive, get some steam in here, and that steam would grab the mold particulates out of the air. And maybe they're not mold, but there seems to be a particulate happening in here that, for instance, when I step outside and go to work, the allergy leaves. Anyway, that's all an aside. But if you see me, it's because I'm trying to continue talking and also fighting off an allergy attack. So, Afanti is pretty good. You can get Paulownia. I think the guitars do have a distinct sound. I don't think that the distinctiveness of various tone woods is really a factor at all in whether anyone can make a video that is going to be watched by however many people, whatever the bar of success is. If you wanted 1 million views or whatever, I don't think tone wood is the thing, unless, again, you're doing a solo guitar piece. So Will's Easy Guitar did a video recently, and so he said, you know, come on you guys, let's everybody get over this obsession with tone wood and just get to playing. You know, let's get to what matters, because in the grand scheme of things, tone wood, I'm back in the camp of it's not really that important. But I will say, I really believe this: your harder and your heavier wood on a solid body guitar, it's going to have this tighter, kind of a tighter, punchier tone. And then as the wood lightens, there is this sort of resonance. But I've gone way overboard with obsessing over this, and to be honest, it wouldn't even bother me at this point in time if I went back and started playing these heavy basswood guitars again. I mean, the lightweight of the lighter bodies is a nice bonus, especially as we get older. It's nice to have a lighter guitar around the neck in a stand-up playing situation, but you know, add a couple of 3 pounds. It's not a deal breaker, I've decided. And so I guess I'm kind of glad that I've been through this stuff with tone wood, but I'm approaching the other end, as you can, hopefully you can tell, and it's just not a big deal. You know, even if you take, okay, your string gauge, your pickup type, your pickup gauge, well, really, here's something that is going to affect what you're doing more than anything that I've just listed, including tone wood. And it's just, how's your vibrato technique? Okay, and how's your articulation? Are you playing for an audience that demands really strict, tight articulation? Or are you playing for an audience that is pretty cool with sloppy guitar playing? You know, where's your audience? What are you looking for? What are you trying to sound like? Do you care about whether you have an audience or not? These are all bigger questions than what's the wood in your guitar body. So, as much as I talk about glitter and sparkle of a lightweight wood, and then the tightness and the punch of a heavy wood, it's never cut and dry. And some of the ones that are in the middle, sort of like the mahoganies on a G&L, or the alders on a Stag, the SEL P90 I've got over here, it's sort of got everything. It's like the best of both worlds. But I think I've said enough about that. So there are a lot bigger questions. You know, if you're trying to put together something, a recording or a show or whatever, in a context of a band, there are a lot bigger questions than tone wood. Again, if you're noodling around in your garage, or if you're playing solo guitar and presenting that to the public, then yeah, maybe it becomes a bigger factor. But still, I think it comes back more. You know, you got your tone wood, you got your string gauge, your pickups, your pick type somewhere all in there. Probably pickups above string gauge and pickup type, right? But then you got like your vibrato technique, your accuracy, just the energy you're putting into it. A lot of it, okay, here's another thing, and I was going to make a separate video about this, but I won't. Yeah, the energy you put into it. Like, here's something I'm trying to crawl out of a pitfall that I've fallen into with my own playing. It's almost a fear of where something is going. And I think back to when I started playing when I was 15 or 16, and there was it was just a sense of adventure, a fearlessness, and to just pound that energy into the guitar, and good things will happen as long as you have the attitude. So what I'm saying is, for me, I've fallen into sort of a rut where there's like that foreboding, like, how's this going to work out? What's going to happen? Oh, I've been through this solo 50 times and I'm still, I'm in a rut with it. It's not, usually not the way I want it. Well, I have to throw all that away. It's something I have to crawl out of in my own journey. And so what I'm saying is, the bottom line is that has a lot to do with how you come across. It's just the attitude behind it. And that's, for me, that's one of the reasons you can take a band like Sonic Youth or whatever, and I like what they're doing, even though the guitar is like anti-guitar. Well, but it's got a certain attitude that makes it cool. Anyway, that's my quarter. That's more than 2 cents, right? That might be a dime or a nickel or a quarter. That's my opinion on Tonewood. Afanti can help you out. They're pretty good. And if you want Paulownia, just as an aside, they'll do it. You want a custom logo on your headstock, they'll do it. And I think they could sell you a neck with a custom logo on a headstock. You wouldn't even have to buy an entire guitar. So I'll put their website here, and that's just another tool in your toolbox. Like, if you want to get into some of this stuff that I've been doing, something similar, Afanti might be somebody cool to be in contact with. And that's where I am with tone, performance, my experience with Xiangqi, and I'll leave it at that.